Okay, how's it going? So we're gonna be doing this one here, which is called return blah. Let's do this. So we're gonna be doing this one here, right? Now, what they're asking us to do, is to do two things, right? So this is a given array. I'll explain to you very quickly. I'm not gonna do uh, extra sheets, but it's very easy, right? This is an array. They want us to do two things. Number one, find out the maximum possible value out of sliced arrays. So you can think about every array as being a slice of the total array. So we can go from this number to 2, this number to 3, this number to 4. So a lot of mini arrays made up of this array that are sliced. Does that make sense? They're sliced. So numbers must be consecutive. All right. So you cannot go, for example, 1, 4, 10. That's not allowed in the first um, for the first um, solution, right? Not allowed. There has to be a portion of an array. There have to be sliced versions of this array. Okay. Now for the second one, you can pick any number out of the array and produce the maximum value. That's it. So for the first one, there has to be slices of the array. So like 1 to 3, 2 to 4, 3 to 10, whatever you want, right? And we're trying to maximize the value, right? For the second one, pick any numbers out of this array and maximize the value. Find the maximum number possible from any number selected in this array. And you can only select each number one time. So there is actually an algorithm for this. It's called K. I'm not gonna try to pronounce this guy's name, right? But it's this one here. So it's already solved for you. That's the solution for the first. So that's the solution for the first. For the second is you like the easiest way to do it would be to slice array and try to kind of well basically do reduce to maximum value, slice the value, reduce to maximum value, slice the value, and then see which one is the biggest. But this is a long way and it's not going to work, right? So let's just do the first part first, and then we'll get to the second part, right? So let's do the first part is basically this algorithm here. That's it. Okay. So we're literally going to copy it, right? So let's pass array1. Okay, so what do they want us? Let's just put best equal to 0. Let current equal to 0. For variable I equals to 0. I smaller than array.length. Actually, we can do for each. Why do we even need to do this? We can do just array, whoops, for each element, right? And then what do they want us to do? They want us to current is equal to mathmax 0 current plus element, right? So console log element, so you'll be able to see it, right? So we want current equals to mathmax 0, so current plus the element, so whichever the iteration is, right? And then best equals, so again mathmax current best, right? Or current. Yeah, so we are basically selecting which one is better. Should we keep, like the idea in here, should we keep the previous value or should we flip it to the current value which is current plus 1, right? Which is current element plus the whatever this thing here. Okay, so now we're gonna return console log best, so you'll be able to see it, that it's 16. So in here, the first one should be 16, the second one should be 20. So 16 is the maximum possible value out of sliced arrays, right? So it possibly did it, which way did it do? So 16 was 2 plus 3. Yeah, it probably went 2 plus 3 is 5, 10, 20, minus 4, 16. So it's sliced from, imagine you just get rid of minus 1 and you just get this thing here, 2, 3, minus 4, 5, 10. That is the maximum possible. If you try any other combination, it will be below this, right? So let's say you try minus 4, 5, 10, you're going to have 11. So it's below the best value, right? Now, if you're confused whether what needs to be done, I'm gonna link. There was a video explaining exactly what needs to be done. Let me just look into 1 sec. I'm gonna pause and look into. Yeah, so I found it, right? So there's the video, and he explains exactly how to do it, right? Well, exactly what is required of you, right? So just think, it's very easy. You want to slice 1 to 3. You can take 1 as a slice. 1 to 3, 1 to 2 is a slice. 2 to 1, 1 to 1 is a slice, and the whole array is a slice. Then you want to try 3 to 2, 3 to 1, 3 to 1, another slice. Yeah, 2 to 1, right, like that. Now, the problem with is you're going to have to do a lot of iterations and a lot of um, um, reducing. You have to first slice it, then you have to reduce it, then you have to compare it. So it's very, very slow. So that's why this algorithm is here, right? Okay, so for the second part, we want to get let max possible equal to 0, right? All right, so I'll show you how to, okay, so let's take this array from here and I'll show you how to do it very, very quickly in a CodePen, right? So let's say we have an array. We want to have max possible from this array. So let max equal to 0. So the first thing we want to do, we want to iterate through this array. So for each element, right? And then we want to do max equals math max, right? Max or max plus element. Okay, so at every iteration, it's going to compare. Should we keep, which one is the biggest? Is max the biggest, or max plus element is the biggest, right? So at the moment, max is 0, right? Max plus minus 1 is going to be minus 1. So at first iteration, it's going to keep 0. It will move to the second iteration, right? It will say, okay, so max is 0, max plus 2, 0 plus 2 is now 2. Which one is the biggest? 2. So it's going to convert max to 2 because max equals to whatever output is from here, right? So now our max is 2. So now it's going to, again, on the third iteration, it's going to look in here and going to say, okay, which is better? Which is better? 3, oh, whoops, 2, which was our previous map. Honestly, what I can do is I can just show it to you. Look, console log max, right? And then console log max in here. And then we're going to console log element. Console log element. All right, this is going to look very messy in here, so we probably want to move it to here. All right, because in here I have Quokka running, so you'll be able to see it. Okay, so you see, in the first iteration, max is 0. Let's just do console log max plus element. All right. So look, max is 0. We probably don't even need element in here. we'll just keep it. Okay. So that's the comparing function. When you think about this, is a miniaturized comparing function. Max is 0. Max plus element is -1. So it's going to compare which one is better. 0 is bigger. It keeps the 0. It moves to the second iteration, which is 2, right? Compares is 0. We're comparing between 0 or 2. Which one is bigger? 2. So it converts max into 2. We again start iteration at 3, right? It looks what is bigger, 2 or 2 plus element, which is 5. Now, obviously, 5 is bigger. It's going to convert max into 5, right? It will keep going until we get the maximum value, right? Does that make sense? Now, you can also do it a second way, but it's going to fail. But I'm going to show you how to do it. It's a little bit logically, a little bit easier to understand, especially if you're kind of like a beginner programmer. It will make because math max is something you kind of have to wrap your head around. Okay, so let temp r is equal to, oh shit, it's gonna probably look very bad in here. Okay, let me just go back to my thingy in here. So let temp r is equal to array1 slice 0, right? 0, and then array1 dot length minus, we need index in here. Yeah. So element and then index minus the index. Okay. Index. So now you're going to see a lot of small sliced arrays. Do you see we're chopping off? We're chopping off last element on every iteration, right? And then what we're doing is we're doing reduce accumulator value. Let's do accumulator plus value, right? So you see we have a lot of yeah, you're gonna have that as well. Temporary array. Okay. This should be 20, honestly. One sec. No, everything is fine. Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah. One sec. Let me just think this through. Yeah, I forgot to add another thing is that you have to sort it first, right? Because if you're chunking the end element must be the smallest, right? So you have to sort it from the biggest to the smallest, right? So we're gonna have to sort it first, right? So we're gonna have to sort array1 dot sort, right? And then we're gonna get a lot of subarrays. And we need biggest first, right? So it's going to be b minus a. Yeah. So now it's going to work. Now it's going to work. So now we can do, whoopsie. So now we can do reduce, right? Accumulator value, accumulator plus value. So the first value should be, yeah. So you see 20 is in here. So now we need to do if max is bigger, is smaller if max is smaller than temp array, so this is like temp array reduced to the value, then we want max to be equal to temp array, right? So it's going to scan through. So what we're doing is we're sorting it first, right? Because we want to chunk the smallest element from the end, right? And see what's the maximum possible value. Then we're gonna slice it. Then we're gonna reduce it, right? Do you see how many operations? And this will fail. And then yeah, so if you look in here, console log max, it will give us 20, right? Yeah. Do you see the problem? Like it's just so many operations. Whereas you can simply do this max equals to math max, and then it's gonna be max plus the element, and this will give us 20 as well. Do you see how much smoother this is, and you don't even need indexing here. Now it will take you some time to wrap your hand around it, because like that's the beauty of doing algorithms. It gives you this power to create code that is very efficient, and it passes time complexity, because as you go into the intermediate to expert algorithms, you will not be able to pass with code that takes too much time or resources, right? So you find those little shortcuts like this, it's such a shortcut. Okay, so now we just put it as max. We're just doing what we're done already, right? We're just taking max is equal to max math max max plus element. Oh, whoops. Did I create element? Yeah, I did, yeah. So we want to get rid of all console logs naturally. So now we're gonna console log max possible, right? 20, okay. So now we're gonna return. I think they want best first and then max second. I think that's what they want us to do. Now, it could fail because I don't know. There are some tricky arrays that are like all negative or all positive, and normally you want to create separate conditions for them. Let me just have a look. Where is my yeah, there it is. So it's probably gonna it could fail. I'm not sure if it could. Let me just have a look. Yeah, it fails because on all arrays that are all negative. Now it fails because you see when array is all negative, we set the starting values to 0, so it will output zeros, right? Whereas in reality it should output minus ones, right? Now this is the same problem even if you use it in the what you call this, in the actual algorithm. It's still going to be the same problem because we are hard coding 0 as first. Now I tried a lot of different methods. I tried turning this into minus 10,000, which is constrained in here. It's such a waste of time. I tried to play around with algorithm, try to make this minus 10,000 and this minus 10,000. Now, the fastest way to solve this is to do it like this. Create conditions like this. So if array every element, right, element is smaller than 0, which means every single element is console log all negative, right? That's all negatives. What we want to do then is we want to do sorted array, right? Sorted array sort. We want the biggest number to be at the start, so we want b minus a, right? So this will give us the biggest number. So let's just see, array4 is all negatives, right? Yes. Right, so the biggest number is going to be in the beginning. Now you can sort it the other way, a minus b, so biggest number is going to be at the end. But it's much easier to do b minus a because um, you don't then have to hard code the length of the array. It's going to be just the first element, right? So then we're just going to return. We're going to return basically sorted 0, and then again sorted 0. So the first element from this array. Honestly, we can just copy and well, no. We want to when you are doing sorts and kind of mapping, you want to do it a minimum number of times. Otherwise, the system will consume too many resources. So the second condition is if every element is positive, right? Element is bigger than 0, right? We're going to console log. All are positive. So array 2 is all positive. So it will jump into here, right? And in here, it's very simple. You just return reduced array because the whole array is the maximum value. It satisfies both conditions. It's best and max at the same time. So let reduced. You don't need to sort it. So just array.reduce. We do whoopsie. What am I doing? Accumulator value. Accumulator plus value. Right. So you'll see that reduced array is probably going to be 10. Yeah. So we want to return 10 twice, right? Reduced and then reduced. And that's it. That should pass. Remove console logs as usual. Um, and then that should definitely pass, I think. Yeah, if you try to do too many reduce and slices and reordering, you'll fail this test here. Because, I mean, look at the size of this thing. Do you know what I'm saying? So you cannot do too many reduces and slices and okay, that's about it, right? If you have any questions, leave in the description, and like and subscribe helps with the algorithm. Take care, bye bye.